All righty, PJ, we're back. This is going to be fun. Round two, my friend. All right, guys. So for those of you that tuned in for what was the inaugural episode of the Marketing Without Rules podcast, Phil and I talked through some of the stuff that he's doing in his market to take it over to really be the person for junk removal in his market. And there's a lot of things that we've chatted about in Messenger, Phil and I've seen him post in the groups. And so he and I got chatting after the episode. It was a lot of fun. It was good. We've gotten some really good feedback from it. And we said, all right, let's do part two. There's enough meat on the bone still to pick off that we wanted to do that. So I was just talking off air with you, Phil, but that's an awesome jersey there.
Yeah, we've these things are pretty nice, man. I don't think I've ever had any apparel that got as much conversation as this does.
Yeah, you were saying that if you hate talking to people, don't wear that shirt, right?
Yeah, don't wear this shirt.
I love it. And Pat,
I had a lot of stuff to say. I had a lot of stuff to say last time. This isn't my forte, right? I built roads for 25 years before junk removal, so talking to people isn't necessarily my forte. But I felt like we just had a lot more to say, get a little bit more in detailed about some of the stuff we're doing.
Hey, I've had some really positive feedback for the first one, so I'm excited. If it means we get a little bit more bite-sized both times, that just means more likely that people are going to take action. So shout out to Pat, though. Pat Balance did your shirts, right?
Yeah, Pat Balance does my shirts. He did my logo and my website and all that stuff. He's a pretty good guy.
Amazing.
Pretty good looking guy, too.
An old stud right there. I love it. Right. All right, cool. Well, let's dive in. You've sent me some notes here. We're gonna take advantage of people's times and we'll go crazy. So let's start with 1-800-DRUNK. We chatted real briefly about that, but let's dive in chatting about your time at 1-800-DRUNK, because you did okay there.
Yeah, started out as a truck team member. Ended up as the general manager of the Greater Santa Cruz franchise. We were number 2 in customer service in the country, which is a pretty big deal. We were a one truck team, so being number 1 or number 2 in the country for customer service is a really big deal for us.
Yeah,
and I brought that with me to my business, so it really helps us a lot. I think my time at 1-800 was invaluable. I think, obviously, I think those of us that came from the 1-800 system kind of have a little bit leg up anyway. But
tell
my time there.
What you mean by that? Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you there a little bit. You said you have a little bit of a leg up. Everybody hates on 1-800, but what they don't acknowledge is that 1-800 built the industry. And so I'd love to. What do you think that 1-800 did for you as a junk removal business owner that someone who hasn't worked at 1-800 you might not have?
Well, I think starting with just the price sheet alone, right? Like, how many people do we talk to about the price sheet that either don't run one or don't run it correctly?
Yeah.
But I mean, just the process, I think, is something that we all benefited from, right? The 1-800 process it's perfect, right? Well, virtually perfect.
Yeah.
Everything is just calculated. It's all a numbers game, so we all get taught, they don't just throw us on a truck. I think I had 4 or 5 days of videos to watch and tests to take just to ride in the passenger seat of that truck.
Yeah.
So, the process, I think, is even though I haven't brought that part with me necessarily, I struggle in that area a little bit, but I'm definitely not a Kevin Hess, right? So I just think that those of us, we know how to sell it. They teach us how to sell it. We sell the most expensive junk removal on the planet, and learning how to sell it is key, right? I mean, everything that they teach us just has so much value.
Yeah, I love it. Number 2 in the country is a pretty okay one. And I can't remember if we touched on this the first time we were chatting, but you have gotten sneaky with some of your reviews. Talk to people about that, because I think that you had a competition when you were at 1-800, and you're like, hey, I bet that. Tell people about that.
Yeah, we were in Chicago for our general manager training, or manager training in general, I guess. And the Chicago franchise, they've got 15 trucks or something over there, and we were smoking everybody in customer service. My owner owned, I don't know, 10 or 15 franchises, and he had little competitions with all of us in general. So they thought I was full of it, right? They thought we were, cheating with the reviews, and we were having drinks after class one night, and I said, look, when you perform customer service correctly, you can get them to say whatever you want. So I said, the challenge is on. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get a review that says I'm handsome. So we all made a bet, $25 a piece, each review that said we were handsome. And I think the first week I had 2.
That's amazing.
So, and I still do that to this day. I'm still getting handsome reviews. I got one from a gay lady last week. So it doesn't matter who you are, guy, girl, I don't care how you identify. We're asking if it's, you can ask every customer to say you're good looking in a review, but you kind of get that feeling, when you're dealing with a certain customer.
So how would someone who doesn't have your good looks go about getting that interview? There's a process there. Tell us about the process.
Well, just we could go back to 1-800, right? It's the call ahead system. It's all of that stuff, right? It's just being not ever letting them wonder where you are, or that's just big. It's big.
That's huge, and I think Kevin touched on this when we were chatting, but calling ahead, letting them know, offering to pick up a coffee, hey, I'm stopping by to get gas, do you want me to pick up anything? And even if they don't say that they want anything, you've now endeared yourself to them, and then you've let them know, hey, we're coming. A lot of people take time off from their work to stay at home. It's a little bit easier now with a lot of jobs, but they're scheduling awkwardly typically to have someone come to their house and do work. So if you can make
and it's super important too when those, generally we're not booked out 2 or 3 weeks, right? A lot of things are coming, the week before, the day of sometimes. When customers book a week, 2 weeks, a month out, I set little reminders along the way, 2 weeks before, a week before, 3 days before. They get a message from me at 3 different times in a 2-week span that, hey, we've got you covered, we're still alive, all of that stuff matters.
It matters, yeah, because you've now made Mrs. Smith that much more comfortable to have you in her house, that much more comfortable with the process. She's not wondering, hey, what time are they going to be here? Have I just wasted my whole day and irritated my boss and all of that? So that's huge. We've got a couple people. Yeah, go ahead.
The majority of my customers here, 90% of my clients are booked online. My guys don't do on-site estimates, very rarely. So the rapport that I build with those customers along the way, I've learned how to do it really well. When I first started doing this up here in the mountains, all of my stuff was coming in via text or email, and I was landing at like 22%. And it was just, abysmal. So now we're up in the 70-75% range.
And you're not going out to do quotes?
No. Very, very rarely do we do on-site quotes. My guys' jobs are booked for them already.
Interesting. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. It was the way it had to happen here. It isn't the way I want it.
Is it because it's so rural and so far to travel?
It is. And we've got a lot of vacation homes here. So, we're about 2 hours from San Francisco. A lot of my clients don't live here. So they send me pictures. They come on a weekend, they put it all out in the driveway. They send me pictures. I give them an estimate, and they head home and just pay us over the phone.
Interesting.
So I've got really good at selling our product, via email, via text. And it boiled down to just some simple stuff. Like what is the customer not getting via email or text that they're getting when I'm on site? The price sheet, they can't see the price sheet. So we would send that. That helped. But when I started sending a photo of the truck or the trailer along with that price sheet, a customer doesn't know that my trailer's 13 yards, right? It doesn't, they don't know,
it means
but they can see what a half of the load is or a quarter of a load. They can say, my couch looks like it's going to fit this much. So super important when you're doing your your text estimates, just to make sure that you convey that same value that you do when you're on site, right? Our numbers include everything: labor, dump, fuel, insurance, workers' comp, all of that stuff's all included. And you have to make sure that you clarify all of that, trying to make them comfortable like you would be when you're on site. And as stupid as it sounds, we're cheerful, we're happy when we're on site. Every single text message that I send, initially email text message, has a smiley face at the end. And probably 40% of the people I send that to respond with a smiley face.
Nice.
So as silly as that sounds, that person that sent that smiley face back got it. Yep. They got it, right? They understood what that little smiley face was, and they sent it back. So little stuff matters.
It does. Yeah. Andrew Thompson's in the house here. Two awesome people. Appreciate you. Jordan says, very correct. I think this is back when we were talking about customer service and all the little touches. Pride in service is all about customer service. Love it, Jordan. Appreciate you tuning in. Awesome. Let's dive into a few things here. We've got a fair list of here. We've got giveaways. We've got some real estate and local business outreach, food, and all the fun that goes along there. Some Bigfoot stuff. I'm going to leave it at that for you guys here.
We've got the business takeovers to talk about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
Let's start with real estate and local business outreach.
Okay. So all of this is going to revolve around engagement for my page, right? So everything that we're doing, that we're going to talk about today, revolves around just engagement. Engagement equals dollars. Mm-hmm. So,
to clarify, that's your Facebook business page that you are engaging with the local community through. Correct. Yeah.
Correct. Cool. So, I'm not advocating against EDDMs or cold calls or any of that stuff. You don't want all your eggs in one basket. You want to do all of that stuff, right? But especially for people who don't have the money or you have the time, we've kind of created another system of getting these, basically a cold call without calling, right? So, we follow all of the businesses, real estate companies, all that stuff from our business page. And then we comment on that stuff daily, right? Every time we see it, comment, like it, sometimes share it. And then they start talking back. You know what I mean? We'll start having conversations back and forth. The next thing you know, they've liked our page. Once you start having that rapport, then you pop off that DM, right? Yeah. So we've been chatting with them. They've seen what we do, on a daily basis. Right. So now we've got this rapport built, and nobody wants an unsolicited call to your personal phone. I mean, we all hate that, right? So I don't know why we expect results, past 0.5% or, 2% at best, right? So by doing this, we engage with these businesses, we build a rapport, then we fire off that DM and with a lot of luck, right?
Yeah.
We're having a lot of luck with some vendors that we had no luck with reaching out for cold calls. So, you can turn these cold calls into hot calls, really.
Yeah. Amazing.
We've got one vendor that we've been after for a long time. Adventist Health is one of our largest healthcare providers here, and I've been emailing them for almost 5 straight years and not had one response. We'll get into the food delivery thing a little later, but we delivered some food to one of their offices. We tagged them. They shared it. They shared it with tens of thousands of people. Then they followed our page, and now we're having conversations. They're actually, commenting on our stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time before I fire off that DM to them and get some love out of them.
They're in the crosshairs. I like it. This actually brings up something interesting. I want to talk about the time that you spend per day on it, because you mentioned that in a post earlier this week. But before we get to that point, there's a concept that I learned from Ryan Stewman in the Apex training mastermind, and he calls it the Dream 100. And that's basically what you're doing here, Phil, is you've got a list of businesses that they're in your crosshairs. You want to work with them. And Ryan talks about this process. You're doing this process to where I've done this as well with some of our clients. I've said, I've latched on and said, hey, I want to work with them. And usually within a couple of years, we're working with them. But what Phil is doing is he is engaging with them, reaching out to them, adding value to them. And it's just a matter of time before their vendor, craps the bed, right? Like that's often how these things go. They go in cycles, and eventually they're going to be looking for someone to serve the need that Phil can accomplish for them. And he's going to be right there, ready to slide in, because he's already put in the work, he's already put in the effort, and it's no longer cold. It's something that he has nurtured and been building. So there's something that happens in their mind when they see you doing that, but there's also something that happens in your mind when you decide, hey, and I think this is an exercise that everybody should do, is go through and look at, hey, what are the top 100 businesses I would love to be working with in our location? Get 50 if you can't think of 100, but then your mind is working while you sleep on ways that you can start, engaging with them.
Yeah, when I decide I'm coming for you, I'm coming for you, and that's just kind of the way it is. Even with the businesses that we network with, they're just basically businesses that I went and had lunch at. I really liked. We talked with the owner, and we kind of hit it off. So I kind of lost my train of thought there, but
no, I told everyone we were going to loop back to the time that you were spending anyway on social media. So talk to us about that process, because you're at it like first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I've been at it. January will be 2 straight years, 7 days a week. I wake up at 5 a.m. I'm old, so I wake up at 5 a.m. anyway. It isn't like I'm waking it up just to do this, but 5 a.m., 7 days a week. I probably put 20 plus hours a week in on this. And it sounds like a lot of time, but it's a couple hours in the morning when nobody's awake. It's a couple hours in the evening when, everything's winding down. And instead of scrolling as Facebook as myself, I just do it as my business. So it really isn't. It sounds like a lot of time, but it really isn't.
I think if people tracked how much time how much time they spent on social media, they'd be surprised that it's probably a lot more than that anyway. So right. may as well make some money while you're at it.
Definitely.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, we're not making a ton of money. We're monetized. I think we're doing about $60 a month, I think.
Let's go. I love it. You've talked about, earning the top fan badge. That's a way that, the more you engage with people, the more that you interact with their page, you are, Facebook's going to reward you for that. They're going to see that and start to notice. Talk a bit about animal rescues. And then there's a John Kiefer idea here, actually. I think John came up the last time we chatted.
Yeah.
But there's an adoption of that too.
So John Kiefer does a lot of fun stuff in the same area, and actually inspires me in a lot of ways. And he did a pet rescue thing where it was a fill his trailer with pet food event, and then they did an adoption event at the same time. So we just thought it was a great idea, and we did it as well. But in general, you want when you comment on an animal post, go to all of your animal rescues, all of your local pounds, all of that stuff, follow all their pages, comment religiously on that stuff. The people in those groups are emotional, and they will, use the people who they believe in, right? The animal community is really strong. So commenting in those groups a lot, donate $25 to an adoption once in a while. You get just a ton of engagement from that.
Yeah. Go to where your community is, and everybody has a pet, and so that's a way that you can relate to them. I was kind of thinking, like, the reason that I like food giveaways so much is everybody loves food, but everybody loves pets too. So it's a great way to do the double whammy there.
Right.
I love it. Awesome. So that's real estate there. And we'll come back to anything, guys. If you're listening and have some questions as we go through, certainly drop a comment. If you're listening after on any platform as well, drop a comment there. Let's get into giveaways and the engagement that you're getting from that. So like sharing giveaways, getting people to leave a number there. You did that really well. I think you've moved away from that a bit, but that was something that really helped you guys grow at the beginning.
That's what actually got us kind of going a little bit. My garage was full of stuff I couldn't give away, and we just started giving it away on our page, and pick a number between 1 and 20 turned into pick a number between 1 and 1,000. We shared it into all of the groups, our local neighborhood groups, which is, pretty basic. Something that we started doing, we would share it into that group. Then you ask them to like your page. You have to avoid, click the 3 little dots, invite your friends, avoid all that stuff.
Yeah, you
All you
can't
want
give
them to
them
do
too
is
much
like.
work. Yeah.
No, just have them like your page. That's hard enough. Have them leave a number. That worked really well for us. And then we even started doing some stuff with some local pages. So one of our groups is called Chit Chat Sonora. There's about 30,000 people in it. So we would just do a giveaway in that group.
Yep.
Instead of, posting it in 25 groups and then having them all like my page, comment on that, pick a number.
Hard to keep track
We
of.
would just have them pick a number right there in that group. They don't have to like my page. They don't have to do anything. Just pick a number. And that worked really well. After a year of giving stuff away, you've kind of got all the people that you're going to get from those groups, right?
Yep.
So by singling them out, they felt a little special.
Yeah.
So that worked really well.
Amazing. Yeah, that's a great point there. And if someone does this for a year, there's no way your business won't blow up. We were doing it every 2 weeks. It was doing a giveaway, whether a gift card or something that we got on the job. PJ's got a note here as well. When you're sharing into groups or doing these giveaways, you get people tagging their friends who are going to then like the post and leave a comment and everything. Meta allows you to go in and invite all of those people to then like your page. So it'll come up to them as it'll basically be a really easy thing for you to toggle, and then it will come up to them, hey, you recently engaged with this page, and they're inviting you to like the page. So it's not just like out of the blue for them. Another thing here is, and I completely agree, do not use contact forms. Well, if you use contact forms or have them jump through hey, invite all your friends or tag, a bunch of people, what you're doing is every new thing that you add for them to do, you're going to drop some people off, and you're going to get less engagement that you would have. If it's just a leave a comment with a number, boom, someone can do that without even thinking. They're going to quickly scroll through, look at the numbers. That's going to get your post some engagement. And then if they do like your post, that's great. But they've still, dropped the comment, and then you can invite them to like the page later on as well.
And then you've nurtured that following too. So, I get about 40 comments a day, and I could post a picture of my dog. I could post a junk removal photo. It doesn't matter what I post anymore. It'll get 40 comments.
Yeah.
Just comments. It'll get 200, engagements. So content's a big deal. Content's a big deal. I've learned a lot, just about, the sizing of your photos and all of that stuff matters, right? Like depending on what platform you're using, all the formats are different. So that's something AI can help you with as well. You can just ask AI what formats are better for
what to put in
what platforms, and it just spits it out for you.
An interesting one too is pictures of people. I find work probably the best. That's certainly my experience, that it's been that way. So love that. So that's giveaways. So if you are giving away a gift card to a local business, or you're giving away something that you get off the job, this can apply to junk removal to any business, really. If you're giving away a service or partnering up with a local business, restaurant or whatever, there's a ton that you could do with giveaways there.
And that's we went from giving away our own stuff that we got on our jobs to giving away gift cards from restaurants. We kind of transitioned into that. The restaurants would just give us gift cards to give away on our page, and that worked probably better than the giveaways. People like free stuff.
Yeah,
and especially
I think free stuff plays out pretty quickly, but everybody loves restaurant. Like, everybody's eating out, and who doesn't want a gift card to give as a gift, or something that they can take someone out to eat, or just.
And these days times are a little tight, right? So, every penny counts.
It gets people in the restaurant, which is good for the restaurants because they can upsell them, they can get drinks, they can do the whole deal, and it's good for the person going there. We'll talk about food deliveries versus solicitation. So you made some notes about EDDMs and goodie bags and all of that. Let's dive in there.
Yeah, everybody does it, right? There was the sheet cake fad for a while and all of that stuff. All of these unsolicited ideas, they work if you just put out enough. You put out 5,000 of them, and 2% is a good number, right?
Yep.
So we started doing these restaurant food deliveries. So one of my restaurant friends gives us a couple of pizzas on Fridays, and again, it's about engagement. So we have businesses and our followers nominate a business to get these free pizza lunches. The restaurant donates the pizzas, we take them in, we drop our rack cards, we drop a couple of hats, we drop some merch on them, and it's just it's been unbelievably good for us. So not only are we going to a new business and getting our rack cards in a business who wants us there, uh, we're gaining those businesses as customers.
Yeah.
Those customers. So word of mouth for us is about 5% right now of our total leads, which is a pretty good number for a word of mouth number.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, 95% of our leads came from Google.
Yeah.
Right now it's less than 50.
That's huge. Yeah. I mean,
our Google leads didn't drop off. We've just added the social media leads.
Yeah. We talked about it the first time, right? Like the power of the fact that what you've built now, social media can go down, search engines can go down. You've still got that love in the community. And so what I'm hearing is, and I think it's brilliant, you've got your friend who's got the pizza company or restaurant or whatever, but they're doing pizzas. Every Friday, you take a couple of those pizzas that he does up for you, gives donuts to you to then give to a business that has been nominated by the community. So your pizza friend wins, you guys win, the community gets the warm and fuzzies, and a business gets a couple free pizzas, a bunch of rack cards from you. You get their undying love and affection for eternity, right? It's a
absolutely massive. Yep. Our local lumber yard took a box of my rack cards so that when they run out, they can replace them.
I love it. So you do this like without fail every Friday. So it's like a community fixture now.
Yep. Yeah, and we do cupcakes on Tuesdays. So we have a bakery that gives us cupcakes for a Tuesday delivery. So it's been kind of crazy, they nominate, everybody's all over the place with nominations. So we've decided we're going to do, starting January, the first week will be like a blue collar week. So you nominate a construction company, we'll take it out to your job site. The next week might be healthcare. The next week could be schools. So we're gonna start breaking it down and kind of going at a certain section.
Yeah. I really like that. It gives people a chance to. It kind of goes deeper into a specific thing. Everybody's got a blue collar husband or friend or uncle. Everybody's got someone that they know in healthcare that goes deep.
It tugs the heartstrings, right? It tugs the heartstrings of everybody who has a construction worker, family member, or friend. When you single them out by just saying we're going to take pizzas to wherever you nominate, nobody's getting any really love out of that, right? It's a fun thing. But when we start breaking it down and saying this week it's only construction workers, all of those people feel the love on that.
That's huge. Yeah, that's so good. That I mean, I love watching how it plays out for you guys, but like there's 4 or 5 different people that all win with that, whether it's the cupcakes or the pizza. And it gives you so much content to be able to post in the groups. I talk about this with people, like don't post your pictures of jobs in the groups. No one wants to see your water heater replacement. No one wants to see your, massive hoarder clean out. We like seeing it because we like seeing the dollars there. But if you can share this feel good moments throughout, like you've got content, up the wazoo.
Yeah, and content's hard to come by, right? Content's hard to come by. We struggle with it daily, especially I do.
Yeah.
You run out of stuff to do. There are days where you just don't have it.
Yeah.
So, taking pictures of 6 or 7 people holding a pizza in your hat at a local business, when I post that the next day or that day, it gets flooded.
It's crazy. Yeah. People love that stuff. People love people who help other people. And as a result, the law of reciprocity comes through the internet because they don't even know you necessarily, but they're like, whoever's doing that, they are good people and they want to be associated with their brand. And so you build this following of layers of people that don't even know you, but love you.
And all of these businesses that you've been going after and, or want to go after are now coming to you. We've got the city likes our page, the neighboring county likes our page. We just got on the vendor list for the neighboring county. We're working on a deal with the city right now. So, it, it's all from this Facebook page. From I've been here this will be my 5th year, I think, in March, and we engulfed ourselves in this community when I got here, and it's just paid off. I mean, best new business of 23, best hauler of 24, citizen of the year, nonprofit of the year. I mean,
and how fun is it to wake up every day knowing that you're making a difference in the community? Like that just adds another level of drive.
Yeah, man, I've never slept so well, and it's fun, right? Like, cold calls aren't fun. Who wants to sit down and make cold calls? We don't even do it. We don't do it because it sucks so bad, right? So this is really fun stuff.
Yeah, you're basically you're manufacturing yourself as a local hero. And it goes back to the content, right? Like, of course, you're doing it to actually help people, but in the process, you're able to manufacture yourself as a local hero that the community can rally behind and rally behind what you're doing. You're manufacturing content opportunities. It checks all the boxes, right? Like the content that you take of that lumberyard crew with you and with the pizzas. You've got rat cards in there now. You've got your promotional materials. And now you've got smiling people in your post that has your brand on it. Like, you can't ask for anything more than that.
I have rat cards in my post office.
I love it. I saw that. That's a big win.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Amazing. I could talk all night about just this one here, but the engagement and positive word of mouth marketing coming from that is just so fun. Yeah. Let us talk about. We're gonna hit Bigfoot. I actually don't know all the details here. Talk about Bigfoot to us. Does he exist?
The Bigfoot Music Festival. We live up near Yosemite. There's a little town called Twainhart that's got a couple of thousand people in it, and they have the Bigfoot Music Festival. It's a 3-day event, super fun thing. And I went with my wife the first year, and we were sitting out in the crowd, and I'm looking at the banners for all of these really large businesses, all of our largest employers in the county, who donate thousands to this event. I told my wife I wanted to be involved. So the next year I reached out, we donated a free junk removal to a raffle that they had that got our banner out there. So I was pretty stoked for that. The next year I decided I was getting all of those gift cards from restaurants from all my friends to give away. So I was going to go to Bigfoot. I was just going to walk into the crowd and I was going to have a handful of gift cards and I was just going to hand them out to random people. And I started posting that. So I had businesses calling. I ended up with $600 in cash and about $2,000 in gift cards.
Jeepers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So as this is, I'm just posting all this stuff and people are just eating it up. The promoter of the event messaged me. She reached out and donated a bunch of all weekend passes for me to give away.
Wow.
So we gave away, I think, four weekend passes for a couple of people. She gave us a free booth space and a couple of $1,000 vendor package that we didn't have to pay for.
Yeah.
And then all I did, I brought a bunch of my free stuff, my yard sale stuff, the free shit. I just put it out on my table, and everything at my table was free.
That's amazing.
And we would just we would hand out gift cards to random people. We had $100 bills. I had people walking up to our booth, and I would put a $100 bill in one hand and have nothing in the other hand, and you had to pick. Well, you could pick the $25 gift card, or you could pick a hand and try to
try your luck, right?
It was fantastic.
Did you just feel like an entertainer the whole day?
Our booth was packed.
That's amazing.
Our local casino just built a new casino, and they had this 5-star restaurant up top called the Perch. and it's it's $150 a plate up there. They donated a dinner for two. They donated a stay at the hotel for us to give away at the event as well. So all we did at this thing for 3 days was give stuff away, and it was the coolest thing. Next year it's going to be giant.
That's going to be crazy. So to recap for those listening, once you build yourself as the benevolent Oprah of your community, you had businesses reaching out to you asking to be included in basically riding your coattails now, and the community involvement that you had built. The casino, the actual event, that's a big deal, and that goes to show that the consistency in what you're doing and the way that you're doing it, of putting the community and the businesses first, is truly what's being perceived by the community. And it's really important that if you're listening to this and you're saying, hey, I could do this, I can manipulate my community into giving me stuff, take a step back, right? You have to come from that go-giver mentality of, hey, how can I make our community awesome? And then people come out of the woodwork and they want to support that once they suss out that you're actually real and legit and doing something for the community.
If you're not genuine, good luck. Just like we can read a customer, when you're in the top 2 or 3% in sales for 1-800-GOT-JUNK, for instance, you read you know how to read a person, right? On the fly, you can adjust your pitch, right? To whatever situation you're in. And it's the same with customers. They can read us. People can read us. We started doing this to get followers to our page, but because we cared, right? We like small businesses.
Of course, there's it's got to make sense. It's got to make business sense. But like, if you can blend it with that good intention.
I take a little bit of heat. I take a little bit of heat. Yeah, the last couple of weeks, I've got a couple people, questioning our motives, but they get rode out of town pretty hard by our followers. So
I like how you said if you're not coming in with good intentions, good luck. It was like the Southern version of bless you. You're basically telling people it's all over for you. Yeah. But that's super fun. That's you're an entertainer, you're an Oprah for your community, and it's really fun for you. I mean, I love that stuff. And who doesn't love being on the receiving end of $100 bill at a junk removal booth, right? At a concert.
Yeah, and who doesn't? What business doesn't like another business handing you hundreds of dollars to just give away, right? Like, and I preach this to my businesses as I kind of teach this, especially my restaurant friends. Why are you giving me gift cards to give away to help my business? I like it. It's great, but why don't you give a gift card away on your own page? I mean, everybody
and build your own brand at the same time.
And still to this day they don't do it.
It takes work, right? It does take work, and that is something that cannot be avoided here. It's not just a sit back and the whole community comes in. This is 2 years of you putting in the work every day, engaging with the community, putting thought into the process of how this all goes together. And I mean, that's life, right? You get out what you put in, and if you put out good mojo in your community, it will come back. There's a tattoo note here. We didn't touch on tattoos yet.
Tattoos?
There's tattoo giveaway initiative attached to the Bigfoot.
Oh, same thing. It was at Bigfoot. So one of the big tattoo places up here saw our giveaway, reached out, donated a $200 tattoo to our giveaways. So we had little buckets on our tables for each of our giveaways. We had people were just coming up, taking random stuff off the table. It was really fun. Next year, I'm gonna try to do a car. We'll see how it goes.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to. I reached out to Ford and I reached out to some other places.
Well, you're doing a car right now, right?
We're giving away a car for Christmas.
Yeah, so
a really nice car. So we got actually it came from the Bigfoot Music Festival. So I had a customer, I had a lady come up and say that her son left a car there and been gone for a couple of years. He took a loan out on the car, so there was that hanging over it. One of the businesses that I work with is a tow company. So we just towed it over to his place. He leaned it, got the paperwork in order, did some minor repairs, repainted the roof. We got another business to donate some tires and another business to do some detailing on it. So we present that car Actually, we were shooting for Christmas, but now it's going to be New Year's. We had a couple of unforeseen things come up with the car, but we're going to present it to a place called Resiliency Village that transitions homeless people or people down on their luck into housing, and they've got a really, really good reputation, and they get a lot of people back on their feet. So it's important that if you're going to give away a car, that the person's vetted, right? We just don't want to hand a car to somebody and they crash it into a pole.
Yeah.
So by donating, it does a couple of things, right? They vet the person who gets the car, so we make sure that we didn't just give away a $6,000 car to somebody who didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
But it also it lends to the the Oprah thing, right? And the we're giving away a car, and you're giving it a car, and you're getting a car, right? We did a press release, so we'll have press out there to help out the businesses that that help do it.
Yeah.
I know that the businesses that are on board are really, really liking this idea. So we're probably going to do it more times a year than just around the holidays. We're going to shoot for a couple of three, see how that goes. But giving away a car is a big deal. When I started my business, I didn't own a vehicle. I rented a U-Haul for a year.
Wow.
I slept in that U-Haul at times.
Wow.
I slept in my 1-800-GOT junk truck. I didn't have a place to live. I made $14 an hour as the manager for that 1-800 franchise in Santa Cruz, California, where it's $1.2 million to own a house.
Doesn't go
renting a garage is $1,500 a month. So, when I started this, I didn't have a car. So the vehicle thing's a big deal for me.
Yeah.
This is something that I'm really into.
That's huge. Wow. Yeah, and it's I mean, I'm getting the warm and fuzzies talking to you. So like the businesses that are I need a better word for that, but that's the best way I can describe it, right? Like that feeling that you get when talking about this, when hearing about this, when seeing it posted in the groups, that is something that your community will feel, and the business owners are going to feel, and who doesn't want to be a part of that? That's huge. That's massive.
Yeah, our Chamber of Commerce is going to pick us up. I just talked with the president last night. The president of our chamber has a media company, and he picked up our restaurant takeovers, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
The chamber is going to pick up these restaurant takeovers and give us some ad spend. So we're going to run some radio ads, and some social media ads and stuff for these restaurant takeovers. So might as well just go into that now.
Yeah.
We started doing these restaurant takeovers. So we would, I'm going into these restaurants, we're doing gift card giveaways, I'm posting, we're sharing, we're doing all this stuff. And I had an idea a couple of years ago, actually, to do restaurant takeovers where we just send as many people into one of these restaurants or businesses one weekend as we could.
Yeah.
We didn't have a following back then. I think I had 25 followers at the time. So it wasn't really something, we didn't have anybody to send. So we just kind of put that on the back shelf for a bit. Fast forward a couple of years now, once a month, every couple of weeks, we again let our followers nominate a business, and then we go in with the president of the chamber with his media company. He comes in, shoots a video of the owners, how did you get started, all that stuff. We film your product, and then he puts together a nice video for you for your social media and your website or whatever. He also gives you a 1 hour social media marketing consultation for free. And then the following week we run it. We blast it out. Our business takeover is this week. Everybody go into so-and-so. This week we're doing a crafter for the first time, so people can shop from their couch.
Yeah.
Which is looking like it's turning out better than the brick and mortar thing. It's hard to get people to go, downtown especially. It's a little hard to park. So,
it's one thing to get them. Yeah, one thing to get them to grab a gift card and go in on their own time, but to do like a coordinated thing, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Right. So that's been working really well for us. We're going to start running some radio spots and some social media ads and to kind of ramp that up. But it's kind of cool that my Chamber of Commerce is taking that up. I don't know if they were going to replace the mixers. I think they're going to replace the chamber mixers with these takeovers, but at least they're going to add them. in there.
So instead of having the networking events at the chamber location, it'll be like a business takeover and everything happens at that restaurant.
Correct. So instead of going to a business mixer with a bunch of the same people every week or every other week or month, now, and then I'll give you for instance, one of our restaurant friends opened a restaurant semi close to us, joined the chamber, had everybody come, but restaurant margins are tight, right? 10% gross profit. When you have 40 or 50 people come in and you have to feed them, you don't have the cash, right? But they do it. They go in the hole. So now we're going to replace that with, now we come in and we spend money in your establishment. The public is involved. So now you're not just mingling with other business owners, you're mingling with the public as well. So now the business can showcase what they have instead of just putting out, food knowing they can't pay for.
Yeah.
So it's gonna kind of flip it around for these businesses.
That's very cool. I want to touch back to the car and the press release. How do you go about doing a press release? That's something that a lot of business owners, they're like, oh, that's cool. Do I just go on and purchase a national press release, or I'll give you the space now.
So I have AI write them for me.
Yep.
And
as you
so I just sent my press release to the president of the chamber the other day, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to release this for the car thing, and he goes, he's going to redo it for me. Let's just put it that way. but if that's what he does for a living, right? So if you had AI write it for you and you send it off, you're going to be okay, right? It's better than you doing it yourself. So yeah, anybody can send a press release. I think it's underrated for sure, right?
So are you just doing it at the chamber, or are you reaching out to local news stations and
all the local news stations? Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah. Here's a tip. I actually did a couple press releases for clients last week. If you're using AI, you can use this, Phil, as well. But if you're using AI, you can go on and find examples of press releases that you like. There's going to be some, you can search for them online, and then you toss those into. I typically use ChatGPT, and then you say, all right, here's a bunch of templates. I'm going to then give you information, and you can ask me any questions to then create one for my business that follows that template. And then it does all the work for you, and it basically asks you what you need to do that. That's a way to get it, probably closer to what your friend's going to get it.
Well, yeah, and AI now that I do this for my business enough, AI just assumes that it's for my business at this point. They write it for Sonora junk removal. So
that's awesome.
It's pretty easy.
Very cool. So that's business takeovers there. You had a note here. This is almost a full-time job. I love that. And I think that I want to stress on that. Like, jump in, guys, with both feet. Pick one of the things that we talked about here tonight for any type of home service business, and you will be able to dominate your market if you do these things consistently. But it does take time. And Phil's, mentioned the time that he spends on social media, but you're rolling out some cool new things. You've got the trash can side of thing, or the trash can cleaning, I think, that you're rolling out, and then leaf cleanup is in full swing, right?
Yeah, leaf cleanup's in full swing. Next week we're officially starting to book full days. We're up in the mountains, so in California, and obviously we have the wildfire stuff going on up here. So we have that 100-foot defensible space around your property that's mandatory.
Yep.
So depending on your elevation, you get fined if you don't get it done. Yep. So we bought a big commercial leaf machine from the East Coast. Couldn't even get one on the West Coast. I bought it from the East Coast, and the city followed our page, and they saw it and made the call, and we're going to go out and well, we already went out, but we're working on the numbers, and we're going to get the city contract to do all of the curbside leaf removal for the residents in the city. And we've already landed vendor status for our neighboring county. So, and this has just paid off for us in big ways, right? I mean, how many of us are on our county vendor list, right? Not a lot of us.
It's the coveted
that's one place that's really difficult to get in, right? The county, the city is really difficult, and we're making that happen.
That's incredible. Something that someone might have missed, and I want to clarify for myself, is you mentioned that you bought the leaf machine, the leaf sucker, basically, from the East Coast, and then the city saw that on your social media. Is that correct?
Yep.
So again,
they follow our page.
The power of relating with the businesses in your area, following the city, engaging with them, the Chamber of Commerce and everything, that is a massive job. And, automatically being able to fill that machine with work just based off your social media presence.
And we do some stuff for the city. We do a free cleanup after the Christmas parade. A bunch of our nonprofit guys, we sit at the local pizza place who gives us the pizza for our restaurant stuff. We sit there and we eat and drink until the parade's over, and then we walk up and down the street in a Grinch costume and pick up trash and bag it. And those are the little things that get you on the radar, right? Like, so we go pick up all these little bags of trash with pickers, and we just leave the bags for the city guys to come and pick up. Well, the city guys are right behind us. It's a love fest, right? And all of that just snowballs.
Yeah. Well, if this isn't marketing without rules, I don't know what is. But you've definitely colored outside the lines that people normally color inside. Ads, SEO, websites. Those are all great, but they're not going to embed your business in your community the way that Phil's done with his business. And I say that as someone that offers these services, right? And so if you are not thinking about how can I bring attention to what we do, but also serve the community, guys, you're missing out. So get out there, color outside the lines, and throw the rules out for a second and start marketing with the rules.
We talked about that, right? Like, traditional marketing methods get you a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Well, we want the whole pie. We want the whole pie. We don't want a piece of the pie. So do those traditional marketing methods to get you those pieces of that pie, but add the stuff on top of it, and you'll start getting more pieces of that pie.
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer in whatever you focus on is going to serve you well. So it takes time, it takes effort, it takes investment of mental power and connecting with people and networking. But if you go hard on it, it's going to serve you well. The same with Facebook ads, the same with Google ads. Anything that you do well and consistently, it will serve you well. So what if you could bring all of these together and bring them, into one place for your business? Phil, this has been a lot of fun. Anything that we didn't chat about that you wanted to chat about? I think we went down through your list here. It was a solid, solid conversation.
I think we touched on it all. Like I said, if I had anything to say, just start out scrolling from your business page more than you do your personal page. Make sure you like all of those businesses in your service area. It seems like a no-brainer, right? But it's really, really, it's made. Well, we went from 95% of our leads coming from Google to less than 50.
That's awesome.
And we haven't dropped off any Google leads. So,
that's growth right there.
Yeah.
Well, guys, get outside the box. Think outside the norm. Be a hunter, not a gatherer. Those are themes that you'll hear consistently through this podcast, no matter who I have on. I firmly believe that those are the ways that you stand out in your market, and Phil has done an excellent job of bringing us along for the ride on some of the things that he is doing for his community. So Phil, stick around for a second. We'll catch up off air. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll just highlight a few here. Matt Vick got the muscle arms there. Jamie here. Jamie popped in a few times. Appreciate the support. Xavier, right back at you, my friend. And Ronnie tuned in as well. So yeah, Merry Christmas to you, Jamie. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, round 2 here with Phil. If you didn't catch the first episode, go back. It's the #1 episode on the Marketing Without Rules podcast. And, episode #1. It is currently the most listened to as well. But you go check that out if you haven't yet. And we will see you guys next time. Talk soon.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.